Hello, y'all. I was sitting there watching that, and I sat there and was noticing the same thing because I like going to polls, seeing how people do things. But here's a bad thing he did. He did a real bad thing. He actually mocked skeptics, but also said his agenda. I'm shocked when he said that because as soon as he said that in a town hall meeting, they started the polling. And he didn't even pay attention. He right there said, I have the freedom to kill you with mandate. And then 5 minutes later, come on, man. Point is, that bitch jumped him up on the polling. And here's what I'm saying. We're going to go right here. So he was doing and didn't even pay attention what they was doing. And this place was doing the polling. I want you to see who was doing the polling. Man, did he make himself. He went from darn 28% to 2% polling. Because he was running off his mouth and telling them the agenda that he was trying to do. There's the questions they was having at the same time. You see, it actually shows you here Republican, Democrat, Independent, man, woman, and it's a yes and no questions, and he got it. And then it shows you the age groups. Look at that. That's 18 to 34, 35 to 49, 50 to 64, 65 plus. Still, man, woman, white, black, Hispanic. We're going down to the next area. You see the same thing. Republican, Democrat, Independent, man, woman, yes and no. And he was still doing it. He wouldn't let up. He made himself look like a baby. He could not handle himself when he was talking. He was lost. And all them people was sitting there looking and reading these questions at the same time watching him talk. But when he turned around and wasn't paying attention, they was asking questions all through here. At the town hall meeting, you see where it's going to. It's looking at other things. Overall, do you think the country is better off or worse today than it was a year ago? And that's when he was talking about, I have the freedom to kill you with my mandate. And when he was doing that, you start noticing better, worse. Everything says better right here to a point. And then it changed. And when it changed, it started doing numbers like that. You see how easy it was to change? He was making mistakes, boy. He was destroying himself. He literally told them the agenda. He knew what his agenda was. He knew to keep his mouth shut. And he wasn't paying attention. For some reason, Joe B didn't pay attention. So everybody was going through there, and you noticing where is that? This is a disapproval area up here. And they all was telling him the same thing. These are all disapproval by these people. And he wasn't paying attention. Climate change. You see, there's one rut, and they didn't say nothing. And you see them all talking. Every one of these was already hit. And he wasn't getting nothing. He wasn't paying attention to nothing. Only way he could do is sit there and run off about the past when he was a baby. And the only thing they was doing is asking questions just like this so they can get a better answer. And he still was doing the same thing. He wasn't getting nowhere. When they started asking questions, they couldn't get nowhere. Now, how stupid could you get to be getting these questions and you're talking about your family history? How fast does it go to drop you down? He wasn't paying attention. and you aren't noticing that it started dropping. So when this company right here got finished, it was at 28%. But after he said, I have the freedom to kill you with my mandate. And then wait 5 minutes and say, come on, man, I'm joking. He just made his own bed to 2%. I mean, we need a new government. We need a new president. I know that's what it is. I just couldn't believe that he would sit there and tell them people that he was smarter than they was, but yet he's going to talk about his past. And then throw that marking the people who don't do what he says, and then says he has the freedom to do that. That is a agenda. So you would have to think that when he did that, how fast would your down scores go if you said that? Your scores would change from 100% down to almost zero. Joe was at 37%. He was ending up at 28%, and now he's at 2% because he didn't know how to keep his mouth shut. He didn't want to talk about the politics of the questions, and every one of them questions was a poll question, and he kept going on. When you're out of control and you don't know what you're doing, I wouldn't sit there and think. I looked at it as myself, and this is the most messed up government I have ever seen. It don't matter if it was a damn Republican in there or a Democrat. And me, I grew up as a Democrat, and I'm looking at Republicans. They failed. I'm looking at the Democrats. They failed. And I'm also looking at the president and seeing that he is just too old to do the job, and he wants to talk about the past. He is nothing. I don't understand why nobody could ever wake up on that. I just could not understand it. Sitting there seeing him do that when they had all them questions for him, and he just could not open up his mouth. He had to sit there and talk, knowing that his score was right there showing you where he's at. You see where his approval rate went when he said that? It went from that to 28. And then you add a margin of 7 points. But when he opened his mouth about a freedom to kill you with a mandate, and wait 5 minutes, that's not joking. You just pissed everybody off. Now he's at 2% ratings. What kind of government do we have here? I want to know. I would like to know what kind of government you see right now and what you see in 2022. Because me, I see nothing more than a person who is too old to do the job as president, and the Democrats and the Republican government, we're talking about the congressmen, both parties are just useless. I think we need a whole new group. A new Congress, a new Democrats, a new Republican, a new president. We don't need none of this shit. They can't even figure out what's what. Now think about it. I want to hear a comment about that, because this right here tells you what he said. I'll even go up better than that. I'm going to show you another one. I'm going to pull it up. Where is it? Where did he say that other thing? I want you to see what he did. I mean, this is ridiculous. The same town hall meeting. The same town hall meeting. He shouldn't have even said that. He shouldn't have been joking about that. He shouldn't have said nothing. But what he should have been doing was about jobs, how to cut the money back, how to put more jobs in. He should have automatically talked about, hell, I would have went to climate change. I wouldn't have said nothing like that. Or high neighborhood crimes. I wouldn't have said nothing about what he was talking about. I don't care about the past. Hey, I want to know what happened to the unemployment. He didn't want to talk about that. I want to know what's the divide in politics. He didn't talk about that. Did you see anything that he talked about? Everything was a disapproval. I put them on papers. I sat there and went from there. Now it's 28. Now it went down to 2. And I'm going down to each area. I'm sitting there looking. I'm looking at everything and putting my own score on how he did stuff. And now I have to give him a 2 for putting his mouth and talking about the past and saying something like that was a no-no in my book. What do y'all think? Thank you.